Let's look at the implications of the ongoing unrest in the northern African region and what it means for the rest of the world. Geographically, Libya, Tunisia, Egypt and Algeria, and these are just some of the countries affected by the civil unrest. They're just across the sea from Europe.
Remember, Egypt is not the only country in the Middle East where revolution is brewing.
Right now, the movement here, the anti-government movement, does not quite have the momentum that it does in Egypt. Although we were out today, this was the largest anti-government demonstration we've seen yet in the capital. Over 15,000 people demonstrating, calling on the president to step down.
Rebels fight Gaddafi forces over Libyan oil port. AP. More than 140,000 people flee Libya. Are we seeing the spark that's going to set off World War III?
Ending scenario in which, like the domino effect, governments around the world of Islam, they will claim, are now going to fall. And the world of Islam is rising up now. The world of Islam is now going to rise up, and all these governments are going to be swept away. And authentic governments representing the Muslim masses will now emerge. This is going to be the most dangerous moment in the entire life of the world of Jews. The media will portray it. If we don't do something, we will all be slaughtered by these Muslim fanatics. I tell you, this will be drama worthy of Hollywood when it comes. Huh? They must be hating me now for revealing their secrets. It is in this scenario that Israel will say, we have to do something. If we just sit here and do nothing, the state of Israel will be destroyed and the Jews will all be slaughtered. What can we do? They call it a preemptive strike. A preemptive strike. But it won't be a preemptive strike. It will be the most dazzling display of the magnificent application of state-of-the-art military technology that'll leave even Uncle Sam in the backyard. A war like Uncle Sam has never seen and could never wage. That is what Israel is going to wage. Do they have the technology? I believe they have technology that even Uncle Sam doesn't have. It will be a lightning strike. Israel has to put on this magnificent display of military power and state-of-the-art technology beyond anything else that the world has ever known, in order for Israel to impress upon mankind the validity of its credentials that is now going to become the new ruling state in the world. How is Israel going to launch this big war and yet get away from being perceived by the whole of humanity as the aggressor? Blatant aggression. You have to come with a good strategy. Israel has a PhD in deception because it's Dajjal at the back of this, the mastermind. And Israel would not want to wage a big war and appear to the world naked, clearly, as an aggressor. No, that's not deception. Israel has to wage her big war and make it appear as though she was only defending herself.
For more than 30 years, Israel has had a partner in Egypt willing to assist in its own security concerns. With Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak's regime under threat at home, that is now in question. Mubarak's security apparatus has policed Egypt's border with Gaza ever since Israel withdrew from its Gaza settlements in 2005. It has also maintained a quiet border between Israel and Egypt. Though the peace between Israel and Egypt has been a cold one, largely rejected by the Egyptian public, it has served the interests of both Mubarak and Israel. The main concern now is for whoever replaces Mubarak to leave the peace treaty with Israel as is.
So does a people's diplomacy really work? And would it work with Iran? These questions come as the former U.S. envoy to the United Nations says Israel has until August 21st to attack Iran's nuclear sites. Could unravel mass destruction worldwide? Then it seems. That's Wayne Madsen, RT contributor and investigative journalist.
Remember about 8 months ago, the RAND Corporation published a report that was big news in Europe, saying that the central banks need World War III as a pretext to bring in their world government. They openly brag about all their criminal activity.
One of the elements of where they want to take the world is a third world war. In the 1800s, letters were written, particularly one particular letter, between two high-level players in the secret society network, in which the 3 world wars were described of where they were going to go. And this letter included the detail of countries that would be involved and how it would be started. And it described the First World War with the Germans brought into conflict with the rest of Europe and America. It described the Second World War in the same terms and said it would lead to a Jewish state in Israel. And the Third World War would be triggered out of the Middle East, involving Israel as the trigger, and would bring about the final global conflict, which would lead to them being able to offer the solution to stop this ever happening again, which would be a world government and a single world army. And the idea of that is to say, if we have a single world army and we bring an end to national armies, then we can't ever again have a war. What they won't tell you is those that have manipulated the war will be the same people that offer the solution to the war, which is exactly the structure of control that they want. And if you look at the world after a war, it's never the same as it was before, especially world wars. And they want this Third World War to change the face of global society to the point where they can introduce this centralized global structure. What these people do is they declare wars and they get the rest of us to fight them. What we've got to do is stop fighting them and stop falling for this scam. Because if we go into this Third World War, then, goodbye freedom.